Welcome to our class where we're going to discuss a few concepts, just 2 topics within 30 minutes. I will start with answering questions. As you can see, define probability, define statistics. So probability is simply a branch of maths that quantifies uncertainty or randomness. So probability measures the degree of certainty or randomness. It is expressed between numbers 0 and 1. So the probability that an event will occur is a chance or likelihood that an event will occur. So probability theory basically is used in fields of statistics, science, engineering, economics, and many more to make informed decisions. Statistics, on the other hand, is simply the science of collecting, organizing, analyzing, interpreting, and presenting data. So it involves a set of techniques and methods of summarizing and drawing meaningful conclusions from a data source. So under statistics, we have questions to do with what we call grouped data. So when data is put in classes or clusters like this, it is called grouped data. So we're given 45 to 49, 50 to 54, etc. So this question will be your homework. Let me just use an example as follows, but we use the same questions from there. So we're given classes as follows: 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, and 16 to 20. And we're told the frequency that we have is 4, 7, 6, and 3. So the first question we're being asked from this, we're only given the speed and the frequencies, the mean, the mode, the median, standard deviation, and coefficient of variation. So I'll answer all those based on this particular data set. So cumulative frequency is add on. So we're going to add on, we'll bring the 4 here. What are we going to have? When you add the 4 to the 7, what do we have? 11. We add 11 to the 6, what do we have? 17. We add the 3 to 17, what do we have? 20. So our n here is 20. What else can we do on the frequency distribution table? Values of x. X is the midpoint. It's simply found by adding the lower bound and the upper bound divided by 2. So here 1 plus 5 is 6 divided by 2 is 3. 6 plus 10 is 16 divided by 2, 8. 11 plus 16, 11 plus 15, what do we have? 26 divided by 2, we get what? 13. So you can see that the difference we are having here is by 5. So 3 plus 5, 8. 8 plus 5, 13 plus 5 is 18. Even before adding this, it's still the same thing. So this ideally gives you the height itself. Your height is 5. The distance from here to here to here to here. So our height or width is 5. That is the idea. Are we together? Then we can square this column, x squared. So this is 9, 64, 169. 18 squared, what do we have? 324. All right. So we now multiply the frequency times the x. It's called f of x. We multiply the frequency times x squared is f x squared. So let's evaluate here. 4 times 3 is 12. Again, 4 times 9 is 36. The mistake people make is they want to square this to get this value. You don't do that. You're starting from here. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 9 is 36. Can somebody help me in the next column? A lady? What are we doing there? Quickly follow my procedure. Seven times what?
56.
7 times 8 is what? 56. Then here, how do we evaluate it? Seven times what? 64, which is 448. Then here, what are we doing? 6 times 13 is what? 78. Then 6 times 169. How do we get? Then 14. The gents here, what do we do? Quickly, we don't have time other than
It's 972. $54.
3 times 18 is 54. So now we sum up the totals here and only the values that have the f's. So summation of fx, summation of fx squared. So we sum up here, we sum up there. So 12 plus
FX is 200.
200, correct? And here, and here we have what? 2470 fx squared. All right, so let's find these 4 things. Number 1, the mean. What's the formula for the mean? Summation of fx over n. So our fx here is what? 200. Divided by our n is what? 20. So the mean becomes 10. Number 2, the variance. Variance is given by what? Summation of x squared minus summation of x power 2 over n. Everything over n minus 1. So what is our x squared? 2470. Then our x 200, the power 2 over n is 20. Everything over n minus 1. All right, so you start from this area here. 200 squared divided by 20 is 2000. So 2470 minus 2000 is 470. All right. So you're going to have 470 divided by what? 19. Are we following? So you leave your answer to 3 decimal places. That is 4.7368. So this is called our variance. And to get the standard deviation, we square root our variance. Square root of the variance, square root of the 24.736. Square root of this answer, we get what? 4.9736. So that is how we find our standard deviation. And the coefficient of variation is simply standard deviation over the mean times 100. Our standard deviation this was what? 4.9736. And here our mean is what? 10 times 100. We simply get 49%. So any questions on these 4 things that have been found: the mean, the variance, standard deviation, and the coefficient of variation? Please, as you do this homework, I need you to really figure out. So we found the mean, is variance, and standard deviation, coefficient of variation. So I now want to find the mode and the median. Mode and the median. So to find the mode and the median, remember, our class is what? 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20. This is in a bar chart form because these numbers are not touching, they're not continuous. So they need to be continuous. So you need to adjust them. So this is the adjusted class. So you adjust the class by subtracting a 0.5 and adding a 0.5 on the upper bound. This only happens if these numbers are not the same. Ideally, if there was 5 here and 5 there, I wouldn't do what I'm doing. So here, the 0.5 from the lower bound, you subtract, it will be 0.5. When you add the upper bound, it will be 5.5. When you subtract a 0.5 here, it will be 5.5. When you add a 0.5 there, it will be 10.5. When you subtract a 0.5 there, it will be 10.5. When you add on the other side, it will be 15.5. When you subtract here, it will be what? 15.5. When you add there, it will be what? 20.5. Like this also justifies our width. We can only subtract this and that if these ones are justified. So the width is still 5 as well, because 5.5 minus 0.5 is still what? It's still 5. But when you subtract 5 minus 1 before, if it's not adjusted, your width is wrong. So use a justified width. So in this case here, we have 4763. 4763. Who remembers how to come up with a cumulative frequency? We bring the 4, add there 11, add there 17, add there, we get what? Our 20, which happens to be our n 20. This is all we need to establish our mode median, and the quartiles if possible. Please, whatever I'm talking about is very important and is a handful. So mode is simply the highest frequency. It is given by L plus Fm minus F1 over 2 Fm minus F1 minus F2 times height. The height, for you to remember, is a 5. This one, no doubt about it. So mode means the highest frequency. So you go to the frequency column, identify the highest number, that is your FM. So FM is 7. Above it is F1, below it is F2. Then in this same line, the lower bound is coming from the FM, the lower bound is this one. Then FC is really the same line with what? With F1. So median is given by L plus N over 2 minus FC over Fm times height. So now I've given you the formulas. Let's identify our L is what? 5.5. Now F1 is what? 4. Our F2 is what? 6. Our Fm is what? Our FC is what? 4. Our Fm, 7. And our height is 5. So we have everything we need. Our N is 20. So we'll just fuse in there. So the mode therefore becomes what? L is 5.5. Fm is 7. F1 is 4. 2 Fm, 2, 7, minus 4, minus 6, times the height of 5. So this is 5.5 plus 3 over 5 times 5. This cancels. This is 4. Sorry, 14 minus 4 is 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. So this is 4. And this is 5. So we calculate our mode as follows. Don't touch this guy until you rectify the issues here. 3 times 5 is 15 divided by 4 is 3.75. 3.75, you add 5.5, you get 9.25. Are we following? Are we following? Muela. Is Muela here?
Yes, I am.
All right. And Jeremiah, are we together?
Yes, I'm following, Collins.
The rest are quiet. Okay, I love my classes interactive. I could gauge your participation from there. Are there any questions at this point? All right. I could also teach you a shortcut in calculating the mode. I use the grade 5 way. So we have L plus D1 over D1 plus D2. You have so much to memorize, but this one is easy. I know you don't like memorizing stuff. So the L is the same one we found, which is 5.5. The D1 is the distance above, the distance from FM to F1, that is D1. The distance from FM to F2, that is D2. So distance above from 7 to there, what we get? 3. over 3, this is the one here, plus the distance downwards, 7 minus 6, it is what? A 1. The height is still 4. So this is 5.5, 3 over 4 times the height here is 4. Remember, we've come back with the same thing here. Is that clear? So the mode is d1 divided by d1 plus d2 times height. So the d1 is the distance above. 7 to 4, the distance is 3. 7 to 6, the distance is 1. So 3 plus 1, the distance above comes here. So 3 over 4 times 5. This will be 3.75. Plus 5.5, we get 9.25. Is that clear? Are we together? Mila?
Yeah, it's clear.
It's easier like this, right?
Yeah, much better actually.
All right. Okay, then let me take you to the median. Median means the middle value. So median is what? L plus N over 2 minus FC over FM times height. So ideally, middle number. So N over 2, start from here, N over 2. What is N over 2? 10. So look for 10 in the cumulative frequency. The number that is equal to 10 of S exceeds 10. It is 11. So you draw an invisible arrow like this. 11 is here. So on top of the 11, we have FC. Next to the 11, we have FM. Then down there, we have the lower bound. So above the 11, we have a FC, which is 4. Next to the 11, we have FM, which is 7. The lower bound is a 5.5. That's why sometimes, if I don't want to memorize this step, just realize that we use the same variables, except that F1, usually, not always, is on the same line with FC. So our FM is 5.5, LL, our N over 2, 20 over 2 is 10. Our FC is 4, our FM is 7, and our height is what? 5. So 10 minus 5 minus 4 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 30 divided by 7 is what? 4.28 or 4.26. So 5.5 plus 4.286. When you add 5.5, you're going to get 9.76. That is how we find the median. That is how we find our median. So the median is half of n. So we could as well find the first quartile, Q1. Q1 is simply the same formula of the median, except that instead of writing n over 4, n over 2 here, you're going to have n over 4. Everything. So here we start from here, although like I said, a quarter of n. What is a quarter of 20? It's 5. So we go into this here. Identify 5, which number is equal to 5 of S exceeds 5? It's still 11. You draw a visible arrow here on the 11. So on top of the 11, we have what? FC, which is 4. Next to this 11, we have our next number, which is what? FM, which is 7, and the lower bound is what? 5.5. So lower bound is 5.5. A quarter of 20 is 5. Our FC is 4. Our FM was 7. And the height of 5. So here, everything else was the same, except that here n over is just 5. So 1 over 7 times 5. So this is 5.5. And 5 over 7. 0.71. Okay. So we're going to have 6.214. This is how we find our first quartile. meaning the third quarter, instead of with 3/4 of n. So what is 3/4 of 20? 3/4 of 20 is 15. So what do we do the 15? Like I said, the same song. Look for a number which first exceeds 15 in this cumulative frequency column. It is 17. All right, Muela, when you find the 17, we put it here. What three things are we going to look for?
We're going to look at FC, which will be
FC,
right
what?
above it.
Which is what?
On the left-hand side, we are going to
FC is
look
what?
at the
Above it is
FC is
11, right?
4. Oh, sorry, yeah, FC is 11.
Then FM,
FM will be 6.
good. And L,
L is 10.5.
excellent, 10.5. Good. So 10.5, 6. All right. So 17 here, we have what? Above here was 10.5. And 6 here, our L say FM. Then our FC was what? 11, right? 11, yes, 11, 6, 10.5. So when we substitute in there, we're going to have what? 10.5 plus 3/4 of that was 15 minus 11 over FM, which is 6, times the height, of course, which is 5. So this will be 10.5 plus 4 over 6 times 5. So this is giving us what? 20 over 6. It is 3.33. So 10.5 plus 3.33. Which is what? 13.833. So this is how we get our Q3. So the inductor range is therefore found by Q3 minus what? Q1. You get the figures there. So this is one topic that is underrated. People think they know. Statistics is actually the toughest. In case you do not know, because there's a lot of things that are needed. Any questions at this point? Ask now, or forever hold your peace. All right. So let me now take you to some questions from pamphlet that I sent that you try. So we're given some questions from and grouped data as well. Some of these questions that are in this pamphlet are from the tutorial sheets, if you've taken time to go through it. All right, so let's look at this question here for one group data. So you're given information as follows. Following data gives information about 15 houses. Fortunately, they are already in chronological order. Find the indicator range and identify any outliers. All right. So what we do when we're identifying the quartiles, we have 3 quartiles. What we use to identify the box-Whisker plot, firstly, we need to identify how many things? 5 things. Number 1, the minimum value of X and the maximum value of X. What else? Q1, Q2, and Q3. Our minimum value of X is 9, the maximum value of X is 115. So So Q1 we know is what? A quarter of n. And our n in this case is 15. What is a quarter of 15? Quarter of 15 is what? 3.75. And we usually round up regardless of the decimal, whether it's 3.1 or 3.9. So the fourth position. What is our fourth position? Is already arranged. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is our Q1, 36. How do we get on that? Then our Q2 is actually our median, half of n. So half of 15 is what? 7.5. 7.5 will round up to the what? 8th number. The 8th number in this case will be, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 50. 50 is here. So this is our 50. Then we go to the third quarter, which is 3/4 of what? N. And here we have 3/4, 15. How do we get here? 0.75 times 15, 11.25. You round up. Some people make a mistake to round off to 11. No, you round up regardless of the. So this will be the 12th. And the 12th number is what? So here we had 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. Which is 64. So this is 64. All right. So 64 is here. Now, the difference between these two, the upper quarter and the lower quarter, is called the interquartile range. 64 minus 36. What do we get? 64 minus 36 will get 28. So 28 is our interquartile range. In the correction term, we multiply that answer by 1.5. 1.5 is a standard figure. We're going to get 42. So this 42 you add it here and you subtract it here to find the extreme values. So 42, so 64 plus 42 will give us 106. Already you can see 115 is outside 106, so that is an outlier. All right, so this 1.5 is standard. We multiplied it to the 28. It gave us 42. And this 42 will give us the upper extreme value, which is 106, sorry. If we found 92, it will mean 94 and 90 and 115 are outliers. So you need to know your number line very well. So 106 is somewhere there. So 106 is the upper bound.
Collins, please push the screen down.
-6 minus 42. -6, -6 is somewhere here. So meaning this 9 has survived. So we're looking at a range between -6 and 106. -6 and 106. So this means our outlier will be 115. Then you can discover here the shape of this is normally distributed because at this side we have 14 as a distance, and here we have 14 distance from here to here. If here we're at 20 and here at 14, you say it is skewed to the left. If we are at 20 and here we're at 14, it is skewed to the right, but this is 50-50. The shape of the diagram is normally distributed. So this is carrying 6 marks. So I want you to try this question in here. It's a free copy. I sent it for people to be trying. These are very likely questions. So from what I've done, I could try question number 3. I'll resend it. Normal distribution question number 4. In the evening, I'll not be with you. I'm unavailable. So you need to listen, those that never joined the class. Please listen to this recording. And also go through, select any 5 questions from this pamphlet. So for this question, briefly, in 2 minutes, since this will be a homework, it is under random variables. You're given random variables, values like, you'll be given 2, 4, 6, and you're given the probability as 0.4, 0.1, and 0.5. Find the mean, variance, and standard deviation. So what you do in this category, to find the mean, you multiply x and the probability, so you get xpx. So 2 times 0.4 is 0.8. 4 times 0.1 is 0.4. 6 times 0.5 is 3.0. So when you add, you get 4.2. This is what we call the mean. All right. Then you go here, you square the values of x. 4, 16, 36. You bring back the probabilities. 0.4, 0.1, 0.5. The probabilities must always add up to 1. So let's multiply again now to find the variance. This by that, x squared px. So this by that is 1.6. This by that 1.6. So but by that is 18.0. So it's 12 carry 1, 21.2. This is summation of x squared px. It's not the variance. So the variance of x is simply xpx squared minus the mean squared. So here 21.2 minus 4.2 squared. That is how we find the variance. So 21.2 minus 4.2 squared, we get 3.56. Then we square root this. 56. What do we get? Is it clear? Any questions? If there are no questions, your homework will be to try also question number 2 here. So please, everything has been explained, to try to do everything in here. I'll end my class here. Have a good day.